Yeah, hello, sir. We are in live, sir. Go ahead.
So, good afternoon, all. I'll quickly introduce myself. I am your faculty for the course Organizational Behavior. I'm from IIT Hyderabad. I'm a faculty in the Department of Liberal Arts and also associated with Department of Entrepreneurship and Management. I'm also associated with the Department of Climate Change. I'm very happy that I'm able to meet you live. So what we can do is there are some participants who are there in the Zoom meet now. So if you have any questions regarding the course, I'm very happy to answer. And there is also one Google form which is shared. Some people have entered their questions also in that. So those questions also I can answer. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Feel free to ask questions. We have around 1 hour to spend today. Is there any questions?
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yes.
Bhaskar.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Bhaskar.
So one question I have, sir, regarding this organizational setup. Like we discussed about office politics in the coursework, but there will be sometimes like we know the middlemen people will suffer always, like unable to coordinate, unable to explain to the lower people, and unable to coordinate with top management. How we can handle that, sir? As being a mid-career professional, I want to have more clarity.
It's a very important question, not just if you're in mid-career, any point in career will undergo politics. So first we need to understand what is politics. Politics is using power in ways which are not good for the organization. We all use power. Okay. So having said that, what do you do when you get into these kind of dynamics where you are pressurized either to use power in ways in which it is not allowed in the organization, or if somebody else is using it against you? So first I'll talk about you as a person. There might be pressure from either top, bottom, or from your colleague to use your power in ways which are not allowed to use, or which is not good for the organization. So in that case, what do you do? Okay, that is one question. Second question is, if somebody is playing politics with you, somebody is using their political pressure on you, what should you do? So the first scenario where you are pressurized to do things, use certain ways of power which are not allowed, what you can do is you should look at ways in which those requests could be done formally. So to the extent possible, you should remember, don't go outside what is given to you in the organizational context in terms of using power. So you should be very tactful when people put pressure on you. You should, for example, put everything in black and white, okay, to the extent possible. Write down in an email. So many a times these political pressures come through informal ways. So try to make it as formal as possible. I know people will oppose that, but you have to do it in the long run. And there is this concept called political savviness, which means you can get into politics, but ensure that it is not unfair. Okay. So what I mean to say is, politics is not always bad. Sometimes it could be useful also. Okay. So I mean, that's an extreme case. I'm not saying play politics always, but sometimes if you can't avoid it, you have to be politically savvy. Politically savvy means play politics in a positive way. Do good things with them. So the first scenario where people are putting pressure on you to be political, what should you do? One, avoid it by putting everything in a formal way through emails, keeping people in loop, record, putting everything in black and white, all those things. So if that cannot be done, play politics in a very savvy way, which means without you being harmed, do positive things. So that is one scenario. Second scenario, when somebody else is playing politics with you, if somebody is manipulating you, what should you do? So one, you should report it. Okay. Again, many a times it's not under your control, because if the organization itself is very bad, very corrupted, the culture is very corrupted, you cannot do anything. But in many cases, there is help available. The larger government setup itself will give you some cushioning or some safety net. For example, there are whistleblower laws. You can report it to people outside the organization if something unethical happens to you. Okay, so you can whistleblow, ensure that you know what are the ways available to you. Okay, so you should get familiarized with what are the possible mechanisms through which you can handle this pressure. For example, if you know all the legal features available, you can avoid political pressure. Okay, so one, be aware, get yourself sensitized to possible options available. Last option is quitting the organization. Okay, so if the culture is too bad, you need to quit the organization. There's another option, which is creating or mobilizing people who are undergoing the same kind of trouble. So if the culture itself is very bad, there might be many people who are affected by such political behavior or negative political behavior. So you can form or mobilize all of them together, and then voice out your concerns. One person shouting against a large group is difficult, but many people coming together and voicing out their concern, then you will be heard. Things will change. Okay. So these are some ways you can handle political pressure. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Santosh. I'm from Bangalore.
Yes, Santosh.
Sir, I have a question. Actually, I've posted the same in Google form also. Sir, I'm pursuing my research in the area of psychological contract. You actually mentioned about that in one of the chapters. Sir, is there any possibility that we can measure a psychological contract by building some sort of predictive model using system dynamics tools? And for that, can we use input through primary data?
So I'm not a expert in system analysis or system theory, but my understanding is system theory looks at connection between different entities. So
Yes.
what you're saying, my understanding is probably how to understand psychological contract from the network point of view or connections point of view. You could see again, you cannot purely rely on quantitative data now, because some of these interactions between networks are very qualitative. When I say qualitative, you cannot just give a questionnaire and measure. Maybe you may have to go and observe. You have to look at other documents which show how people connect with each other. So in systems, especially the interaction between different subsystems are very important to understand. So how subsystems interact, you cannot purely rely on questionnaires. You have to do other ways of data collection also, at least to have that initial model. So when you say developing a model or developing an algorithm, what kind of data you should collect itself, you may not be aware. If you know this is the data I have to collect, you can develop a questionnaire. But what data to collect itself, if you are not aware, what elements you need to focus, what variables you need to focus, if you are not aware, then initially you need to do other qualitative methods like observation, secondary data, or looking at organizational structure, or looking at how information flow happens between different systems, subsystems, understanding concepts like what are the boundaries between different systems, who are those people who cross those boundaries, and all those stuff. So coming back to your question of psychological contract, how will you connect micro and macro? I'm not very sure. Probably you can write to me. We can have a elaborate discussion later. I can connect you to people who can help you. Okay.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was really helpful.
So Garvit have asked, what will be the exam pattern, objective or subjective? I don't know whether I can say that now. We'll post it in the group. There is this Google group, so we will post those details there. Any other questions? So how do you solve difference between manager and a team member? Okay. So one HR manager's role is not necessarily solve conflicts. Okay. So what I understand from your question is, in a team, manager and subordinates, there are problems. As a HR manager, what should you do? See, many times the mechanisms within the organization itself will ensure the conflicts are resolved. So HR manager per se, there is no need for you to intervene. If it becomes important for you to intervene as a HR manager, you should rely on the organizational systems. What I mean to say is, instead of intervening as a person, you are intervening as a manager. So there'll be a framework in the organization which will tell you how to handle this. Okay. So first thing, if it is not required, don't intervene. HR manager's role is not to resolve conflict. Two, if it comes to you to resolve, your personal opinion, personal interests, personal values are not important. You are intervening as a manager. So if you're intervening as a manager, there'll be a formal structure or process which will be given to you. Use that. Okay. Beyond that, if there are biases, people are fighting or people are bringing in their own personal differences, then it's a problem of organizational culture. You should think about how to create a culture of fairness and justice, which is again not completely on you as an HR manager. Okay. So in one point, if I have to tell you, many times it's not your problem. If somebody comes to you, use a framework available. If it is not, it's a larger cultural problem. Again, it's not completely your responsibility. You need to create a system to handle those conflicts. But what you can do is you can create environment where people interact with each other in a very positive way. For that, you need to ensure they informally meet outside the work context. They celebrate things together. They understand each other better. They communicate with each other more clearly. So those kind of skill development you can do as a HR manager. Okay. When will we receive the admit card? You can ask with NPTEL team. They will be able to tell you. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, some of you have called me or messaged me personally to discuss. I'll reply them. Okay. I'll share my personal phone number with you at some point. Yeah. Admit card, you should ask NPTEL people. Okay. So all the administrative related procedures, NPTEL staff will take care. So you can write to NPTEL about admit card. Yes, Mr. Harish, yeah, you can facilitate informal meetings.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yes, Rani.
Sir Rani God.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. I can hear you. Yeah.
Hello.
Please. Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
सर वो NPTEL एग्जाम का डेट कब है?
I'm not sure, Rani. You can ask NPTEL people.
Madam,
NPTEL, you can email them. Huh?
Sir, subject
sir, can I answer?
organizational behavior.
Sorry, subject?
Organizational behavior.
Yeah, I'm the instructor, no? So I don't know the exact exam dates. So you can write to NPTEL email ID and they will reply.
Ganesh,
Okay.
sir, Ganesh, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Recently, we
okay,
received
sir.
instructions. The
Okay,
exam
thank
is
you.
computer based,
Uh-huh.
and date is on 28th, sir,
28th. Okay. 28th of this month, no?
this month. And we are
20
waiting for admit cards.
Okay.
Recently, I checked SwayamNet. They released that all tickets for 20, 21st, 22 exam dates. So hopefully, we may also receive the admit cards in couple of days.
Okay.
सर कब तक आ जाएगा एडमिट कार्ड?
We need to wait, madam. Recently, when I checked on our login site, they released till 22 date exams. So hopefully, in couple of days, we may get. That's what my expectation. Sorry, sir, for interrupting you.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for giving the information. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So must read books in organizational behavior from Harish Bhaskar. If you want textbook, there are many textbooks which are available. There are these Fred Luthans and all those, text authors who have, their textbooks are very classic kind of textbooks. So textbooks, organizational behavior, you'll find it in bookshops. So I usually use this author called Fred Luthans. So he's like a very
Hello sir.
yeah.
सर ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बिहेवियर में क्वेश्चन पैटर्न कैसा होगा?
Question pattern, I will put it in the Google group. Okay. So it will, I'll let you know. I don't know whether I can openly tell it here. I don't know. I have to check with
सर
NPTEL people.
ऑप्शन वाली होंगी या फिर क्वेश्चन आंसर लिखना होगा या टाइप करना होगा?
I don't know whether I can tell this here. No. So I will reply that in the Google group which you are in. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So Fred Luthans is the author of the organizational behavior book. If you're asking about generally in work psychology or work behavior kind of books, so there are some books I have, I've really enjoyed. Recently, I was reading this book called Start with the Question Why. It's not a new book, but I've read it very recently. Okay. So that book is a very interesting book. Start with the question why. It's by, I forgot the name of the author. So it's available in Amazon. And also it's available as a audiobook also in Amazon Prime. So start with the question why. And there is another book called Atomic Habits. These are popular books. It will help you become more effective, help you manage a team better, all those things. So start with the question why is written by someone called Simon Sinek. So that's a very interesting book. Okay, so I'll go to that Google sheet which was shared with me. And then if there are any questions there, I can read. Okay, somebody's asking, is this compulsory to do all assignments? The test you have to take, all the quizzes every week, the quiz I think you need to take. And if the assignments are not done and the exam is not opted for in the session, when can we next attempt for the same? I'm not very sure. You have to ask with the NPTEL staff. And what type of questions will be there? Objective type or subjective type? I will put it in the Google group. Santosh has written, yes, he asked it. Oh. So these are the questions in the Google group. Oh, sorry, Google sheet which is shared with me. Any other questions? If there are no questions, we can log out. Okay, out of 12 assignments, 8 is mandatory. Google group, I think there is a email ID kind of a thing which we would have shared with you. No, you can log in and you can see all the messages. Or I can give my personal email ID. You can write to me if you're not able to join. I'm not very sure what is that email ID. So you can ask NPTEL people. I know I'm passing it everything to the NPTEL people, but honestly, I don't have information about it. Okay. So this is my email ID. You can write to me, I will reply if you're not able to find the group. Okay. Okay then. So thank you again, and wish you all the best for your exam, career, also your research if you're a researcher. Okay.
Sorry, sir. One last question, sir.
Sure. Go ahead.
It is related to this not course, but I'm doing research in psychology. I'm planning to start researching. I completed pre-coursework recently.
Mhm.
What can be the variables we can take related to organizational psychology in the research?
You need to do literature review. See, variable selection is a very important step that you should spend time in. You should do literature review. Let's say you see how do you start with the research? How do you find the research question? So how to find the research question? First step is look around you. Let's say if you're a working professional, there might be some questions which you think should be answered. Okay. For example, politics. What at a middle manager level, how will I handle politics? That's a question. So if that is a question, you have to go and read existing research literature. Is there any research done in answering this question? So when you read these kind of research papers and uh, literature review papers, you will see, okay, not exactly this question, but similar to this, people have studied. So after reading all this, you will identify specific questions you can answer. Okay. In that specific question, you have to decide, okay, if this is a question, what could be the variable? For example, what can a manager do to handle politics at a middle level? Okay. So when you do literature review, you see that people have talked about in research certain kind of political behavior, certain kind of outcomes which happen, certain kind of strategies which are adopted. So after reading all this, you can ask specific question. Okay, at if you are a female employee, does it make it difficult for you to handle political pressure in organizations? Then the variables could be gender, it could be political behavior, variable could be, it leads to stress to employees. So is there a stress element in it? So this is how you should identify variables. So it's not like, somebody will, you can directly get questions from somewhere or variables from somewhere. It's a long journey. At least you spend 6 months to 1 year to come up with the exact research model which you want to test. So that itself is an important step in research.
Thank you so much, sir.
So Soumya has asked, is the course helpful for someone who's planning to do MBA in upcoming years? In MBA, you will have a subject called organizational behavior. If you read it now, it will help you you'll have an extra edge. So let's say if the MBA has an interview. So if they ask you, why do you want to do MBA? So whatever you have heard from this course, some of these concepts, if you put it in a very technical way in the interview, people may get impressed in the MBA interview. Okay, so that is one. And also, when you do the MBA program, already doing this course would have helped you score better in organizational behavior paper when you do MBA, full-time MBA. Yeah. And also it depends on whether you want to specialize in HR, or if you want to specialize in HR, this course will really help you. Question pattern, again, I don't know whether I can tell you. Okay. I know what is a question pattern, but if I don't know whether I can tell you now. Okay. So I'll ask the NPTEL staff. Can I tell the question pattern here? Is it okay to do that? I will check with NPTEL staff and then I'll let you know. I'll let you know either to the Google group, or you can personally email me after a couple of days. I'll reply. Okay, so how to prepare for the exam? Okay, prepare for the exam by listening to the videos. Okay, I will ask whatever I have said in the video. So if you have taken the quiz, if you have taken that weekly assignment, if you are comfortable in getting good marks in that, you will get good marks in your final exam also. So if you have done good in your assignment, you will certainly do well in your final exam. Because even the assignment, whatever I've spoken in the video only, I have asked questions. Similarly, those kind of questions will be asked in the final exam. Okay. So listen to the videos and attempt all the quizzes. See whether you are good in answering the quiz questions. If you are good in answering the quiz questions from the assignments, that is sufficient. Okay.
Sir, when will receive our evaluation for final week 12? Sir?
Sorry?
Evaluation. Week 12 quiz one. Solutions, sorry, not evaluation.
Solutions. I think it is done. I'll check with my research assistant. My research assistant will be doing it. We'll check with it. I think it's automated. No, it's objective. I think it's up to the NPTEL to post it.
Okay.
Okay then. So wish you all the best. Wish you all the best for your exams and your career. Okay, see you then.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you, sir. Thank you. Hello, sir.
Yeah, yes.
We can stop the live, sir?
Yeah, we can stop.
Yes, yes. Anything else, sir?
No, we are
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I can log out, no?
Yeah, we can lock it. I will close this.
Thank you.